to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
I'll tell you what, I appreciated the loss to the Islanders.
Yeah.
Because at no point in my brain did I think they're going to win this game. They just didn't. They didn't give you any hope.
The thing, okay.
It was just like, oh, okay, I could just turn this off.
I want to start by saying I'm still jacked from fucking Tuesday. Just how wonderful Mike was. If you guys didn't watch our last episode with Mike Todd, the arena host for the Blue Jackets, go and watch it.
I'm an idiot because I thought you said Thursday for a second, and I thought you were making a Jack Eichel joke.
No. We'll get to Jack later. We'll get jacked.
Yeah, no. Mike was unbelievable. He was a great guest, and we appreciate him coming on. Gave a lot of great insight.
So generous with his time. I mean, he was doing this from his car on his way to his day job.
Yeah, for real. He was great.
And it was a lot of fun to chop it up with him, and can't wait to see him at the arena again and actually say hi and be like, hey, you remember us? Like we should plan a game to meet up together and then go over and then say hi together.
Yeah, get a pic. That'd be great. I'd be so down for that.
Oh yeah.
I haven't been to Nationwide since probably October, I think.
The last time I was at Nationwide was my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But Kepi's Kepi Keeper, I went first because Mike went first and then I went and then you went. So you go ahead.
Okay, Kepi Keeper is pretty easy. I'll give it to Jaeger Bomb.
Yeah.
Not only the first goal of the game for the Blue Jackets, but the shootout winner. Mm-hmm. He is now 2 for 3 in shootouts with 2 shootout winners.
How about that? I mean, we knew this kid could shoot, but
For real, every time I watch this kid play, because he's a rookie, so he's going through the ebbs and flows of a season and learning NHL kind of style hockey. But when he gets chances and he shoots the puck, every time I'm like, oh my God.
Well, it's not even just his, we know he's got a bomb, and that's why we call him Jaeger Bomb. We know he's got an amazing slap shot, right?
Yeah.
But the power and finesse on Chinnikov's wrister, his first
real.
goal against Minnesota, oh my God, this kid's release is something else.
It is a really good release, and just the accuracy on it too. It's not just the power you see, but and he placed it exactly where he wanted to on the first goal that he got by Kotkaniemi. But then the second one, it was such a powerful Kotkaniemi got a piece of it, and it still just easily went between his legs, 5-hole, to give the Jackets the 1-0 lead in round 3. Yeah.
It was just, and it was weird too, because you watch his attempt and it was honestly, I thought it was a pretty soft goal on Kakkonen's part because it was just kind of a whoop, there it is.
Right.
That's one I think you got to have a save on, especially in a shootout.
For sure. Because his legs were pretty wide on it. He didn't have too much trouble getting it through. Yeah.
So Jaeger is yours. He was actually, I was thinking about him for mine. So I think we got to agree on this one just for, Yeah,
just for those purposes, I think we just have to agree on it. And
I would say Z because he tied it up so late and it was such a great shot. But I mean, just Jaeger's goal was better.
Yeah.
But being honest, like his regular goal, like his regulation goal was just better.
And also it's just the beauty of like seeing him do it on the power play.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is what we want to see for the future. We want to see this guy in the power play more and more. Maybe eventually work his way up to the number one unit. And with shots like that, with his ability
like
to play
what we
the left
said,
flank,
we said that early, right? Like imagine your flanks on PP1 being Patrick Laine and Yegor Chinnikov.
Yeah. You know what that goal reminded me of?
Patrick Laine?
No, it's just like the way that it was set up, working it around the half wall, then getting it back to the point, kind of skating to your right to create a little bit of space and then passing it to the left flank.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't it look identical to Alexander Texier's goal against the Lightning in Game 4?
Oh my God, it did.
Yeah.
When's he coming back? Wait.
I have no idea when he's coming back. But
okay, let's address this now. We know he's on like a personal leave of absence due to like grief.
Right.
So who knows when he's going to be back? I hope it's not too long, but like grief is grief, man.
Yeah, of course. It's a tough situation for him. I feel bad. I feel bad for this team. They've had several players that go through things like that this year.
Patty lost his dad.
Laine, while he was hurt. Now Texier's got to go through this. Also,
I was going to say he's also hurt too, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's still hurt.
We also don't know really what happened with Gregory Hoffman either, and he's now not a part because they terminated his contract. But
right.
We never figured that out. But I felt bad for him too. It sounded like he was in a tough spot.
I think he just wanted to go home. I think that's really all Greg wanted, was he just needed to go home.
And good for him if that's what it was, and he got back home. Then good for him. I hope he's happy there, and I hope he has a lot of success.
Yeah. So the Islanders game, there's really not a bright spot in the Islanders game. Even
I don't even know if we need to recap it.
No, because Anders Lee got a hat trick. And that was the story about it. And Korpisalo led in all 6. Like, come on.
Right.
We're already kind of done with Jonas, like ourselves at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we love Jonas Korpisalo, don't get me wrong.
The person, for sure.
Yes. But, God, just, we've already said he's a non-option.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ugh.
Yeah, no, it doesn't help that he gets the start and gives up 6 goals, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like, in his defense, I look, I've been on this guy a lot over.
He's the guy you've been hardest on throughout this entire show.
So, yeah,
like throughout this entire show.
Frankly, like, you give up 6 goals. It's an easy opportunity for either of us to just bury him. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that, because what the hell is the point of it? They lost 6-0. Nobody showed up.
No, yeah, exactly. They tried. I saw a couple of posts that were nice, couple of really good chances from guys, but
no, they didn't play. They didn't play well at all. And like
Gavrikov had a really good chance.
And here's the thing.
But that was really it.
Buries it. Okay, it's 6-1.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like it's a little frustrating because I'm not going to sit here and bury a guy like Korpisalo for that game.
No,
I think Elvis lets in 5 or 6 too.
And it's weird coming from a team like the Islanders, who are very much defense first still.
It's a very low action kind of team. That's not the kind of way that they win hockey games, for sure. So they just kind of got blitzed by a hungrier team.
And congrats.
Which is crazy because, Jake, you would think if I just told you these are the 2 games. That's the one against the Wild where they score in the final minute to send it to overtime. Elvis has a good game. They're playing well. Chinnikov's playing well. And then this is the second game. Wouldn't you think that it was reversed and that the Wild game was first and then the Islanders game was second of a back-to-back?
In terms of just them being tired and yeah,
you'd be like, oh my god, they must have been exhausted in the second game after going to overtime and the
And through a shootout.
No, it's crazy. They just didn't show up for the first game of the series, and then they won the second one.
Well, it was weird because there's a tweet from Laurie Schmidt that says they won that wild game out of spite, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, they just didn't show on the island, and it was weird.
They didn't show on the island, but they showed up at home. Obviously, Chinnikov with the big goal to make it 1-0, and the shootout winner. But we don't even get there if it's not for Zach Werenski.
Z's goal was the most, like, we've known Z can score clutch goals. That was probably one of the most clutch he's ever scored.
It was just such a perfectly placed shot.
Well, it's weird too, because like, you know, that's a team that we're not really chasing. It's not a team that we need to worry about.
Because they're in the other conference.
They're in the other conference. They're in their own chase.
But it's a team that you look at because they were also in the same expansion draft as us in 2000. And you just look at the last couple of years and how they've kind of built their team. And you kind of look up to some of the things that they've done, you know, drafting and developing a guy like Kirill Kaprizov, trading a guy that they genuinely liked in the state of Minnesota and Mikhail Gramland, and getting a Kevin Fiala.
Fiala has been like, he's flown under the radar recently, but when he scores, he scores amazing goals.
You know, they went on free agency. A lot of people thought they spent a lot of money. I think they've gotten their money's worth out of Matt Zuccarello.
Zook has been very, very good for them. Victor too, when he was like driving that line, and now it's Ryan Hartman driving that line at center.
Yeah,
Victor Hartman.
Ryan Hartman has been very good for them. He's having a career year. And then just on defense, you know, Jonas Brodin, Jared Spurgeon.
Spurgeon's a great captain for them.
He is. He was originally drafted by the Islanders. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
I want to give a quick
graphic of the Islanders.
I want to give a quick congratulations, because I know this wasn't that game, but Barry Trotz 900 wins.
Right.
Good for him, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then obviously the game against Minnesota, winning in a shootout. I mean, we'll take the 2 points and run with it.
Yeah.
But the biggest stories out of that, and we still don't have any updates on either of these guys. There was the Voracek injury first. It was trip and knee-on-knee hit by Marcus Foligno, which did not get called. And we'll have a whole conversation about fucking officiating later, because it's been awful league wide just over this last like week.
Easily league wide.
And then the second one, Patrick, unfortunately, like just kind of an unfortunate collision, really. Like it was, I don't know if you would call it a penalty or anything, just an unfortunate incident with Brodin, and the knee on knee contact just, and then Patty's leg just awkwardly falls backwards, and he left under his own power for the most part, but he did go down the tunnel. And as of right now, we don't have any updates on either of them in terms of, well, no, actually, now that I remember, Jake did come back to the bench, so he's hopefully going to be okay.
Yeah, I'm not so concerned about Jake. I'm a little bit more concerned about Patrick. I think he should be okay. I'm not like stressing too much about it. Worst case, he's out for a week or two, but I more so worry about those weird plays.
Knee on knees are always ugly.
Knee on knees are always ugly. You know, there's a lot of because what happened to Patrick wasn't totally like non-contact, but like it's not, when someone does something dirty to you, it's not often that you see like long-term injuries come out of it. Usually like guys might be out for a couple of weeks or something like that, and there's a lot of outrage and stuff. But generally speaking, the worst injuries that you can have are the ones that are non-contact, or ones that just happen on weird fluky kind of plays. So that's where my concern would be more so with Patrick Laine. But I think both of them should be okay. In terms of Marcus Foligno, he did not do a very good job of defending the Foligno family name.
Here's okay. So I just came across this. There's no suspension for Marcus. This is from our buddy Mark. It's official. He has been fined. He's been fined $5,000, which that's George's favorite thing.
You know what? That's appropriate. I am very, very satisfied with that ruling. That'll show him.
Come on, man. Literally, these guys are.
I'm honestly, dog. I'm at a point where just don't even find them the money. Just don't even find them the money, man.
Even fourth liners are fucking millionaires for the most part at this rate.
Just imagine, like, dog.
So it's like, what's $5,000 gonna do?
I want to see what is. Look up his cap hit real quick for me.
What's Marcus's cap hit?
Yeah, for this year. How much is he making this specific year?
Capfriendly.com. Let me see. Search Marcus Folig. No. There he is. Mm-hmm. He is, if I can get out of this advertisement, that'd be great.
Isn't it like 3.1 million?
3.1 on the button.
Okay.
You called that. Oh my God, he's an alternate captain too, which makes it look even worse on his part. He's a leader on that team. Brodin's a leader on that team.
Okay. So let's say you were making $85,000 a year.
Yep.
Okay. For your job.
Well, 50.
If you're just a normal person.
Yeah, 50 is like a normal benchmark for that, right?
Right. It usually is. But let's say you're actually making above that. Let's say you're like doing pretty well, 85,000. Mm-hmm. It's the equivalent of being fined $137. It's a speeding ticket, essentially.
Oh. See, that just depresses the hell out of me because it reminds me of when Charo was fined $5,000 for like an incident with Brendan Gallagher or something. Mm-hmm. And with the net worth that he has, it was basically like the equivalent of buying like a small coffee.
Yeah. So if you were just making a little bit under the normal pay grade, say $45,000, which is still, decent, steady job. Mm-hmm. That's the equivalent of being fined $72.50.
That's an energy bill. That's literally, you're paying a bill.
That's like going to a restaurant with 3 people. Before the tip, of course.
I don't know if they need to negotiate. Like, I know that's the players. I know that's more the players' side of things. If they cared more about that, they would negotiate bigger fines.
Yeah.
But they don't.
Like, they're not going to like put themselves in a position where if they do something stupid, they have to pay more. You know what I mean? Yeah. At the end of the day, I think it's up to the NHL to stop fining these guys and start suspending them.
Yeah, actually,
really is to create any change you want to see.
Keep, stricter track of their histories, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we've seen that with Marchand and Tom Wilson plenty, where it's like they don't even get that kind of repeat offender treatment that Rafi Torres used to get, and yet they're still
unbelievable.
Ugh, I mean, the definition of a repeat offender, right?
Yeah.
Which we're not talking about.
It's crazy. They used to actually, the Department of Player Safety wasn't perfect, but they used to do it.
When it was Brian Burke and Brendan Shanahan, it was amazing.
It's the best it had ever been at any point, in my opinion. And it's just fallen off since. It's just not, it's not consistent. It's not good.
I mean, a goon's running it.
You'd think that he would know better, right?
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's look, at the end of the day, I'm glad Jake's okay.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about it.
And we're praying for Patty.
I'm glad Jake's okay. And frankly, I tweeted this yesterday. Puck don't lie. Jackets won. Whatever.
Puck don't lie. Jackets win. You're right. That's what we'll take. An old friend of ours, very classic Blue Jacket, was on CBJ and 30 the other day with our friend Bobby Mack.
Oh, he was. Who was it?
RJ Umberger.
Wow. Oh, what's he up to?
I think he's still around in Ohio, just doing his thing.
Makes me happy. I loved RJ. RJ was one of my favorites.
RJ was
just
the
getting
man.
into the team.
Yeah.
Like,
well, especially because like knowing his history of being an Ohio guy and that kind of thing. He came.
Yeah, he I remember when I first got into the team, obviously Rick Nash was my favorite.
Right.
You know, but like my next two favorites, I remember like the first two players outside of Rick Nash who like stood out to me while watching the team. Well, one was Feder Tootin. Loved his great. Game. And the second was RJ Umberger.
I think for me, it was Bob and Umby.
Yeah.
It was either Bob and Cam or Bob and Umby. But
yeah, no, but I loved Umby. I'm glad that he's doing well. Good for him.
Yeah, and he's
in the area.
Well, here's what I wanted to bring up. We talked about with Mike and just on our own, the impact that Rick had and the impact that, frankly, this franchise has had in just growing the sport in Central Ohio and Ohio in general, right?
Right.
RJ wants to do more.
Mm-hmm.
RJ wants to actively do more with this. And he's saying, and I'm just going to read the quote instead of playing the clip because it's technically a clip. Here in Columbus, I want to see us continue developing single A and double A levels because we have already got the triple A level. We've got alumni on the team from the triple A level.
Yes.
Developing single A and double A levels because that's where the majority of the players are. Mm-hmm. That's where the majority of your younger players are. And that's only going to make the high school levels stronger.
I like it.
The more D1 schools and D2 schools and build it up from there.
I like that. He could be a very instrumental part of really helping just not just like the national hockey league level talent in Columbus, but also it's like the other players who go D1 or D2, like you said, players who play juniors, stuff like that. Like that matters too. It's important, strengthen all ends of Ohio talent playing hockey. So I love that from him. That'd be great.
Oh yeah. Honestly, you know what I would love to see? I want to see JD Hiram. Put him on Rick's staff.
I was thinking that too, but at the same time, if he wants to like help out like the younger players and like develop hockey that way, then I say let him do that.
Right. If he wants to just be a local, if he wants to just be a local coach.
Yeah.
And just do it that way. Do what you got to do, RJ. We got to grow this game here.
For real, man. No, I love that from him. Glad he's doing well. Good dude.
Oh yeah,
really
too.
Good dude.
One more quick note on the Minnesota game because I forgot I bookmarked this. I bookmarked stuff on both my personal and the brand account.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm trying to go back and forth.
Yeah.
This is from Svoboda. Tonight was the 20th time in Columbus history that the Jackets have tied a game in the final minute of regulation and the second time in a week.
Yeah.
Second time in a week.
19 come from behind wins this season for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
They're resilient, man.
They are resilient. And tomorrow's game is going to be interesting. We are facing the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yes.
Who are
Jacques Eichel.
Jake, they're on a little bit of a skid, aren't they? They've lost 3 in a row.
They are.
Regulation to the Flyers. They lost last night in regulation to the Penguins, and there's some other game that they played in there too, wasn't there? Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. They lost 3-1 to the Buffalo Sabres.
I don't want to talk about I don't want to talk about Jack's comments yet. I'm going to save that for a little bit later.
They did, but who they lost? Who scored in that game?
Some kid. I want to say
Peyton Krebs.
Yeah.
And then the empty netter, Jack Eichel, got peeled off the puck. by Alex Tuck.
He tucked it in.
Unbelievable game. It was
We're going to talk about what Jack said in a bit, but
yeah. I'm excited about that.
We are like 9 days as of recording this out from the deadline, and honestly, I don't know. I'm going to reach out to Mark about coming on afterwards.
Yeah,
and after the deadline's passed.
Mm-hmm.
But we're like 9 days out from the actual day of the deadline, and it's been crickets.
And you know what that means.
Deadline day is going to explode.
Yes. It's the quiet before the storm.
It's like, it's weird though, because I'm reading, I'm trying to track as much as I can. Mm-hmm. And there's really there's no talks going on. There's extensions, and we'll talk about a couple of them later. But there's really just like, even I haven't listened to what like CJ knows on his show. I just haven't really been keeping that much track because it's just been that quiet.
Yeah.
Then again,
it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think we can get into more discussions as time approaches, but I think it's going to be an exciting day. We're going to see some teams buy in. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Flames make another move. I know they already made the move earlier this season with Toffoli.
They made their big move, yes.
Yeah, their big move with Toffoli. They might make another move, maybe grab another defenseman or someone for the bottom six. But be interesting to see what some of these teams do. You know, some of the selling teams, some of the buying teams. The Maple Leafs are always going to be interesting in that category
because they do both all the time.
Mm-hmm. But also, you know who I'm incredibly interested in is Vegas.
Yeah,
because I mean, afford to miss the playoffs because they've got such they got a window with Eichel, so they need to do everything they can to capitalize on every single year that they get with him.
Well, that was the thing too, was they made that move. They made that move really early.
Yeah, and you do it because you know we need to get him as soon as possible, because the sooner we get him, the sooner he gets the surgery.
Yes, and then the sooner he can play and the sooner he can help us out. So they made that move super early. I don't know what else they can do, even with guys like Stone and Martinez on long term. And isn't Patches on just regular injured reserve too? If he's even out still?
No, because he was in the game the other night.
Was he? Okay. So he's in the lineup.
Kind of scummy. He punched Chris Letang in the back of the head.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. It was a Marchand-like play and gross.
It's not a good look to punch any player in the back of the head, but also just with the concussion history and the
Letang. Yes,
that Letang had.
I saw you. Yeah, the tweet that you shared.
I was very disappointed in that.
This
is a team that has by making that move, Jake, they go all in. You push all your chips into the table, the center of the table. So
nice Vegas metaphor.
I didn't even realize that was like I was making like the general. I didn't even think about the connection to Vegas, but like, accidentally brilliant. But you know what I mean? Like they push the chips all in. They're going all in on the thing.
Well, because it's
like, you need to double down because you need to make sure you make the playoffs so you have a chance.
Maybe they should have got Vander Kane. They could have doubled down.
Dog. They signed Evander Kane after the allegations of the gambling.
Dude, they're already in a bad.
God.
Listen,
the memes would have been cruel.
They're already in such a weird, bad light between what their social media was doing recently, between the Eichel villain arc right now that we'll get to, and the Patches thing.
It's the worst of the league. It's
just like, wow. they're looking awful right now.
Yeah, they are. It's not a world-class organization by any means, but the way that they treated Marc-Andre Fleury to several
Yep.
other players to the yeah, just everything. Like there's I feel like as time progressed, like as the first year, it was like, oh my God, what a cool story. Vegas
Yeah,
is in this.
Band of Rebels, and here we go.
This is so cool. It was after, the Vegas shooting, everybody was kind of rallying behind
Yeah.
them. It was an awesome time. And it took not even what 5 years. And now they're in the top five most hated teams in the league.
Yeah.
Just they're very annoying. There's a stench around that team. There really is.
It's not as bad a stench as Chicago is this year, but
Obviously
there's obviously not.
Number one in that shit.
Obviously not. Yeah, but there's a stench, and it's like onions.
It's worse than onions. Smells like well, let's just continue on. I'm not gonna say it.
All I know is it doesn't smell like cake.
Yeah.
See, bring it back to Shrek reference. How you like that?
Oh, you know what? That's great, because onions are layered in circuits.
Okay, we're gonna get into the reffing stuff because this was wow. All of this was wow. So let's see. Okay, so Gabriel Landeskog comes out after a presser. Article from Arun Srinivasan. I gotta find the actual quote. Okay. Gabriel Landeskog, captain of the Colorado Avalanche.
We're on one today, dog.
Yeah, we're tired. We're loopy from the Mike episode. We're having fun.
Yeah.
Landy starts with a statement about officiating. He's not happy. That's a playoff game tonight. It's very unfortunate it comes down tonight. Said the refs did a great job the first 50 minutes. In 11 years, I've never sat and talked about referees in a press conference ever, he told reporters. I think Wes McCauley and TJ Luxmore, who are two very well-respected referees in this league. Wes is like one of the biggest referee names, like Tim
He's
Peel
the biggest brand name for a referee you'll ever find.
Kelly Sutherland, Tim Peel, Wes McCauley, they're all on that echelon.
Yeah.
And Luxmore is kind of there. He's like that second tier, I guess. They do a great job for 50-some minutes of the game. They called a high stick on Nas, on Kadri against Niederreiter, which might have been a high stick, but Niederreiter falls easy. We're arguing it's a flop. They still say it's a high stick. Fair enough. And Nas lost his shit. Which I didn't see the play. But
I didn't see any of this, so like I don't necessarily know. I saw he made the comments.
But when you hear a guy like Gabriel Landeskog make these kind of
one
comments,
of the most respected players, and like you said, like it's crazy to think, dude. It's crazy for me as a hockey fan, because I was just thinking about this yesterday, talking to somebody about the Edmonton Oilers, and I brought up Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I can't. It's been 11 years. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Gabriel Landeskog were drafted 11 years ago.
Right.
It's insane.
Taylor Hall was drafted in about 12.
Oh, yeah, it's unbelievable. It boggles my mind. But anyway,
we're getting old, and it's like we're not even that old.
This is a guy who came into the league. He was second overall pick, and after one season, he was 19 years old. They said, "Here you go. Here's the C. You're the captain."
Yeah. And he's grown into one of the best leaders in the entire National Hockey League.
He's a great leader. He's incredibly handsome.
I mean, he's a Swede.
Yeah. This amazing hair. But, like, he's one of the most respected players in the league. I've never heard this guy say a peep. So, honestly, I haven't seen any of it. And I'm going to probably sound hypocritical here. I don't care. I haven't seen it. But I believe him.
I would believe it just based off of Naz's reaction alone, because Nazem Kadri is one of the most honest on-ice players.
Yeah,
in terms of just
players who most often get screwed over by referees.
I mean,
some of it's his own fault.
He has his moments. We know this.
But there are other times where he gets called penalties for being Nazem Kadri.
for just being Nas and just reputation alone, and that's bullshit.
Yeah.
There was another one from our game against Minnesota last night, which was the Foligno call that we now know he got fined for, but not called. He didn't get
okay. He got fined the equivalent of like $140, so that's pretty good.
For, I mean, a trip that led to a knee hit. And I mean, again, knowing that Jake's fine, it's still, though, it's just like, this is so...
Yeah. No, it sucked that it happened the way that it did. Like, here's the thing. You and I feel a lot better about it for two reasons. We feel fine. We're not upset about it because A, Jake was back on the bench, so he looks like he's okay. And B, they won the game.
Right.
Had they lost 2-1 and Jake would have been out long term, it's a totally different discussion.
I just realized that all these incidents that we're talking about all happened within the span of like yesterday.
Yeah.
Because the Leafs won too. That led to the Coyotes game winner.
Oh my God, that was ridiculous too.
The Chychrun missed hook on Austin.
Here's the thing, it's already bad enough that it didn't get called. The fact that it, like, not even 3 seconds later, they scored the overtime winner.
Directly leads to a game-winning goal.
Directly.
And the referee's
there's
right
some
there.
plays that happen.
How many
like,
times
you don't
is a referee or a linesman right fucking there, staring at, like, daggers at you?
Yeah.
And they just completely ignore you.
Here's the other thing. That's Austin Matthews, man. How does
That's
Austin
Matthews? How do you not?
It's one thing if some rookie, it's one thing if maybe Michael Bunting doesn't get that call. He's a rookie.
Right. Even though he's great at drawing penalties.
God, how the hell does Austin Matthews not get that call?
How does Austin Matthews not get
in the regular season? In the regular season, Austin Matthews isn't getting that call? That's unbelievable.
Well, it's like what we talk about with Connor in the playoffs, right? Like he doesn't even get anything now.
Yeah.
And he gets mauled.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, somebody could chop Connor McDavid's arm off right in front of a referee, and they wouldn't do a damn thing.
Yeah. It's getting ridiculous with it. That one was the one that I was most upset about because it's the one that I saw and I was like, because here's the thing, like I said, the Blue Jackets won, so like I don't really care. But the fact that play, because here we see all the time, like plays happen, like someone gets slashed, someone gets hooked or interfered with, whatever, and then a goal happens later, and it's like, well, if you just made the fucking call, it wouldn't have happened. But this isn't a situation where that happens and then 30 seconds later the puck's in the back of the net. Jake, it's not even 3 seconds. Even 3 seconds. And it's one of those plays. Yeah. It directly led to the goal. The fact that he was being held not only allowed them to get inside body position and get the puck, it took him completely out of the play.
Well, it's like what we talk about. I've agreed with Steve on his stance that if it directly affects possession of the puck, right? If it's a tripping call that's like that, or if it's a, if it's a hook like that, if it's a high stick like that, if it affects possession of the puck directly, why the fuck are you not calling this?
Yeah. Because also remember back a couple years ago in the finals when Nola Chari got tripped.
Yes.
He got tripped. The Blues got possession of the puck. And it wasn't immediately that they scored. It's not like it took them forever to score, but they didn't, it wasn't like, oh, he got tripped. They immediately grabbed possession and shot it into the back of the net. But they moved it around a little bit, and then they scored.
Was that the Bozak one?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe it was Bozak who tripped him.
Yeah.
It was someone on the Blues tripped Nola Chari. Might have been Bozak. All I know is he got tripped, and Bruins fans had every right to be pissed because it led to the Blues having a 2-0 lead. They lost that game 2-1. It was the game-winning goal. I totally understand that, but it's like at least you have the ability to maybe you could have made a play on the puck after that. You know what I mean? Defensively. This one is like, it doesn't even matter. He's taken so directly out of the plate. It's the sole reason the Coyotes had a 2-on-1.
It's so
and
bad.
That's why they won it.
It's so bad.
That's unbelievably bad from the league.
It's literally like he clotheslined him to pin him up against the boards and then push right by him.
Yeah. Forget about just interfering with him and all that. Like, it was like incredibly physical.
It was
like,
too.
It just, I don't know.
It was too physical. Like
there's no league in the world, National Hockey League, American Hockey League, D1 hockey, club hockey, beer hockey. I don't give a shit. There's no league where that's not a penalty. Except for one. The highest one available.
Yeah. Tweet from this name is kind of funny. Hetty Standerson. Do the refs in the NHL need to be investigated for game fixing? Does the NHL itself blatant non-calls, not missed calls, non-calls that happen literally on a nightly basis, league-wide, labeled as game management? And we've talked about the Tim Peel incident as game management. They're directly deciding outcomes, and this needs to stop.
I've always been of the opinion that, Jake, you get paid money to play a game, right?
Yes.
If you're out there as a player and you fuck up, you do get the highs of it, you do get the lows of it. Like, you get the interview, people asking all the questions after you score a game-winning goal. It's awesome. Yeah. But if you fuck up, bad turnover leads to the game-winning goal. Horrific. Think about it. Jake Gardiner had to answer questions after the 2 horrific games he had in Boston. Game 7.
I remember that.
Guy had to answer questions to the media, general Toronto media, who are usually pretty brutal. That's a part of the job.
He was in tears, and then Mitch had to come to his defense the next, interview, and just was trying to fight it back.
Yeah. So here's my question, Jake. Players fuck up and they have to answer for it. Why don't refs?
NBA refs do. They have a whole thing where it's like if they fuck up in the last 2 minutes.
Jake. The best league gets it right. You're telling me the NBA does something right and the NHL doesn't? I'm glad I was sitting down for that.
Right.
That's just my opinion. Refs should have to do it because at the end of the day, they're not getting asked questions by fucking fans sitting in section 320 of the arena.
You don't even need like team beat reporters there. You just need general reporters there in order to give out a statement.
It's not like fans are going to be over there just harassing these guys in a post game interview. That's not what happens. These are fucking professionals.
It's not like you need Mark over there interviewing these guys. It's like you
need that led you to not call it. That's it. That's all you have to ask. And then they answer the question, and that's it. It's not hard.
Right, exactly. Or like, how did you guys decide to reverse X or Y?
Why did you not call this off when they challenged for it? Was there just not enough to overturn it? What was the situation there? That's it. It's not complicated. It doesn't have to be a 30 fucking minute interview. Ask a few questions. That's it. It's over. Done. See ya. Good night.
Oh, fun. Update on.
But still, you should have to answer for why you did or didn't do something.
Right. Exactly. And I don't understand why they don't. I've never understood why they don't. Do they need fucking classes? Like, we know that they emphasize certain calls every year. Like this year, it started out as cross-checking, right?
Yeah, they made an emphasis to made an emphasis to they made an emphasis to go in on that because they need to show the significance of why that needs to come out of the game. I get it. And I understand that they want to set precedent in certain seasons and crack down on certain things. Jake, I get it.
It goes away after like 2 months.
At the end of the day, every NHL fan who's watching the game doesn't give a shit. They just want the right fucking calls to be made.
Exactly.
I don't care. Dog, and this is where the makeup call bullshit comes in too. I don't care about that. Look, if my team gets penalized for some bullshit, I don't want the game to be interrupted with a fucking power play that you're just gifted seconds later. Like the
Right.
Boston game, they missed the trip on Voracek, and then they go back the other way and they immediately score. Eric Hollis scores. And then Sean Corrali, falls in the neutral zone and they call a penalty on the Bruins for tripping. And it's like, he didn't get tripped. Like, sure, thanks for the power play, I guess, because I'm a Jackets fan, but I don't
Right.
want that shit. Fuck the makeup call. Just don't do it. You fucked up, whatever, move on. Just stop it. No makeup calls. If we get penalized 7 times in a game, the other team gets penalized 1, my reaction isn't they're against us. It's we gotta stop taking so many fucking penalties.
Exactly. It's that's our fault.
Yes. That's it. Stop with the whole makeup call bullshit. I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see a deficit of 1 or 2. I want to see what is actually happening.
Yes, because at the end of the day, if you're going to just do makeup calls and make sure the game's as even as possible, stunner every single year, the teams that have the biggest edge in the playoffs are the ones who are more physical, who get away with more shit. The Boston Bruins have been so excellent at it. The New York Islanders last several years have been very good at it.
The New York Saints, right?
Grit, so they have some scoring, but they got some grit on the team. They can do it too. The teams that have those games, you want to know why Toronto's not doing well in the playoffs?
Because they don't have. Yeah.
One Wayne Simmons and one Kyle Clifford's not enough to fix it. It's not.
No, it's not.
Teams can push them around all they want. They can get away with it because that's how they call it in the fucking.
Well, it's like the Stars have to answer for it themselves. Like, you've seen what Connor McDavid has to do anymore, flying around with his elbows like Messier used to.
Yeah.
And Austin's going to start doing the same, like something similar, I'll bet you.
He might have to. I'm not so concerned about Austin. Austin can hold his own.
Yeah.
Mitch is the guy I'd be more concerned about.
Yeah.
Tavares has been doing it for years. Tavares is going to be fine. Austin's going to be fine. It's Willie and Mitch who are the very, very soft skill kind of guys.
I would say Willie less so. I think Willie can.
Willie less so. Mitch is the more, but I'd still throw them in the same category. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. You're fucking those guys over. Get it together.
And that's why you need to learn from guys like Boone who can hold their own, and coming back to Columbus, like Cole's gonna learn that. Yegor's gonna learn that.
It's the conversation. Do the Toronto Maple Leafs, a team that hasn't made it past the first round, need to get better at protecting themselves and being more physical in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Or do the refs just need to be better?
Yes. I think that's the more important question. I'm not here to say that the Toronto Maple Leafs haven't won a first-round playoff series because the refs.
You watch them play, and they look as they don't look as physical as the other team, sure, because they're built on skill. But we've seen the acquisition.
I don't want to see a team get an unfair advantage just because of how the game's operated, and because of how it changes from regular season to postseason. It should be the same fucking game.
It should be, but it's not.
That's ridiculous. I understand that they don't want to call everything in the postseason. I know that they want to let the players play a little bit, and they don't want to have games that are just littered with power plays. I understand that. But you still need to make the calls. You need to make the calls.
The right calls.
Don't call anything. What that means is don't call anything ticky-tack. But if a penalty happens, fucking call
anything phantom. Like, do you remember when Arvidsson was on the Predators and he got called, it was like the Ernie trip on him and then the other way around. The call that made that up, that I believe that was the infamous Tim Peel call, was it not? The one that got hot mic'd?
Yeah.
He barely had his stick touching his blade.
Barely. It was ridiculous.
I don't know what you do. I don't know if you have your entire officiating crew sit down over the summer for like classes.
Maybe that's what they need to do. I don't know how you fix an entire situation where every single ref is struggling with this. I don't know, because is it necessarily on the refs, or is it the system that's in place and the rules that they ask them to officiate by? It's on the league more than it is on the refs. Don't get me wrong. The refs miss calls. The refs are incredibly flawed, but they're human, Jake. I have more of an issue with the league than I do the actual refs themselves.
Ref interpretation varies by, person too, which we get that part of it.
Some refs are more aggressive than others. Some refs are very much let them play. The others are, if you look at me funny, I'm going to call you for training.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it's a league-wide issue, and it's on the league.
The recent Gallagher thing with the Oilers.
Yeah.
With the wasn't it Derek Ryan's stick was kind of hanging out along the boards on the bench, and then got stick lifted, and then Gallagher complained about it, and then he ended up going to the box, even though the stick shouldn't have been there in the first place. Yes,
because Brendan Gallagher can't get a single call to go his way in his life because he doesn't have the respect of the officials. That's another thing that I have an issue with, but I don't know how you fix it. All I know is it's an issue.
It feels like especially the leaders aren't getting the respect they deserve from officiating.
Especially Gallagher.
Anybody with a C or an A, it's like they go extra hard on these guys, which is the dumbest thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're
I hate it when people make jokes Sidney Crosby, this, that, he whines to the officials, and it's kind of his job.
He's the fucking captain.
If you want to win hockey games, you got to get the respect of the official. I don't hate it, man. I look at Crosby and I'm like, you're doing a great job, dude. You have the respect of everybody.
Yeah.
You play the game the right way. You're a hell of a player.
I mean,
I don't look at that as a situation where he's called because he's whining all the time. I'm looking at it because they just have respect for him and they call him well.
Going back to the whole star players needing to police by themselves, Sid's been starting to get real nasty.
Yeah. And you know what, Jake?
The judo thing with Faravari,
yeah, everybody freaks out about it and they're like, look at this is so dirty and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, are you not paying attention? Are you
do you understand why he did that?
He's not doing this to be a dirty player. He's doing it because if he doesn't, he will get eaten alive because the refs will call shit. So he needs to protect himself. He needs to show everybody, do not fuck with me.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to, because everybody, a lot of people hate Crosby. So of course they're going to go with their own narrative of dirty player, stuff like that. No, this is a dude who knows the damn system. No issue with it whatsoever.
Right.
None.
We've spent way too long on this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jack Eichel and his post-game comments real quick.
Yeah. Man, let me tell you, man.
This fucking guy, I swear, he's cranked the villain roll up to 11.
Jake, I don't even know if this is villainous.
It's so funny.
Listen to his tone of voice.
I know.
Listen to the tremble. He was rattled.
He was rattled, and he was just he was throwing the most amount of shade he could at the Pagulas. Honestly, it was more towards the Pagulas, was it not?
No.
Yes, he addressed the fans.
He ripped the fans more than anything. Let me tell you, man, had Jack Eichel just been this was a frustrating process and coming back, it sucked, but I needed to make a personal decision for my life.
You said last episode he was not going to get the same reception that Reinhart did.
No. And people, here's the thing, man. People are going nuts about it because they're like, well, bad ownership. Look at this. Look at this thing.
I mean, that's part of it, but at the same time.
Here's the thing, Jake. At the end of the day, you need to ask the question: why did there are two former second overall picks by Buffalo Sabres? One's Sam Reinhart, one's Jack Eichel. Mm-hmm. Why was one received so well by the fans? Everybody in the arena, I was there. Everybody in the arena stood up. People in there, when it was a blowout, were cheering for him to get a goal. People wanted to score.
Sabres fans wanted him to score, huh?
Love Sam Reinhart. What is it about Sam Reinhart that he comes back to Buffalo? It was the same team. Mm-hmm. They were on the team for the same amount of time. Played together. Right. Never made the playoffs. Never had success. Why is Sam Reinhart getting a good reception and Jack Eichel's not? I'll tell you this right now. because everybody's freaking out about like him. Oh, like I mean, this guy made a lifestyle. And tell you right now, I live here. I talk. A lot of my friends are Sabres fans. I've had a lot of discussion. It has nothing to do with the surgery. Generally speaking, everybody here supports Jack Eichel in the fact that he wanted the opportunity to do what he should with his own body,
Right.
protect himself, get a surgery he felt comfortable getting. Okay. Nobody has an issue with that. What they have an issue with is the fact that this team gave him the captaincy. They gave him the C. They gave him an 8-year deal. They gave him $80 million.
Right.
And they said, we need you to be the solution.
You're the guy.
This team.
Right.
Like, you are the guy. Forget, like, people talk about, like, oh, well, he's not the only problem in the locker room. There's other issues here and here and stuff like that. I'm like, here's the thing. I'm not giving a player $80 million and the C to not be a problem. And whether he is a problem or not, doesn't matter to me if he thinks it's a problem or not. All I know is you and I could both say he wasn't the solution. And that's where the frustration comes from. You know, he donated a lot of time and money to charities around Buffalo, but there's a lot of people who don't feel like he truly embraced the city and its fans. And there is a lot of frustration with people going into it. And that's why they felt the need to boo. And then finding out that he requested a trade a year prior.
Right. The request. Yep.
Frustrated. So there's a lot of frustration. A lot of people booed. And frankly, for anybody who's questioning why Sabres fans booed, Jack Eichel showed it to you with how he responded to it in the postgame. Nobody should be questioning why Sabres fans booed. After you see that in the postgame, that response, that is precisely why they booed. Because this guy clearly doesn't have the maturity level to be a captain. Now, you can dog the organization for giving it to him in the first place, but at the end of the day, you were supposed to be the savior, and you did nothing to help the team.
I thought it was because they booed him because they missed him.
As production's concerned. Production, sure, you need to play well, but that's not enough. We all know it. You need to start and be a part of a new culture and build a culture of winning. And frankly, this dude had no interest in being a part of that.
Because wasn't that the second part of his comment was, you know, I guess they booed me because they missed me.
Frankly, Sabres fans like the trade. I don't know if Sabres fans really miss him.
Honestly, okay. I remember when Melody Martin posted her video about the Jack trade, and she was like, it was more relief.
More relief than anything.
Yeah.
And it's like my issue. Look,
she was sad over the Sam Reinhart trade, but the Eichel trade, she was just like, okay, finally, it's over.
Yeah. Why is that, Jake? Why were people so sad about the Sam Reinhart trade, but relieved about the Jack Eichel trade? It's a legit question. That's all I'm going to say, because it shows there's two different personalities, two different levels of maturity, two different guys. One was quiet, but a leader in Sam Reinhart.
Hey,
frankly, that's who should have been the captain.
If the people if the people watching and listening to this want to answer us, tweet at us. Tweet at us, comment, what you guys think. What was Jack's problem?
This guy's body language sucks. Buffalo. And here's the other thing, Jake. It's the decisions he made too.
And the facial expressions that he was making. The facial expressions,
the body language, how he answered questions in Buffalo, but more importantly than that, Jake, they knew it was rough with him. They knew that he wasn't happy. And as a result, they gave him more power. Why do you think Ralph Kruger was the head coach of the Buffalo Sabres?
Because he was Jack's guy.
That was a disaster. That was Jack's decision. Why do you think everybody criticized him? I can't believe they just gave Jeff Skinner $9 million. Why do you think they gave?
Because Jack wanted him.
Those were his decisions. If you're upset about roster construction, the bad contract for Skinner, Ralph Kruger being the head coach, Jack, that was you. Those were things you wanted. And now, and neither of them.
They gave you the sun and the moon, and
Skinner's having a very good season. So defend him for a second. But the last 2 years that Jack was in Buffalo with Skinner, it was a disaster, right?
Yeah, he wasn't even playing with Jack.
Exactly. So here's the thing. Those were your decisions. If you want to look at it and be like, oh my God, Ralph Kruger, that's a disaster. Jeff Skinner, that's a disaster. Jack, those were your decisions. And now you're bailing. You did this, and now you bailed on the team.
Mm-hmm.
That's why fans booed. I'm not here to say that that's 110% correct. I'm not here to say that I feel the same way Sabres fans do. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is from talking to Sabres fans, because I know a lot of them, that's the general consensus.
That's totally fair. It's funny because I thought we were just going to laugh at what his actual statement was.
It's
because
one of the
if you read the statement verbatim and just take it at face value, it's very funny to read. It's very funny to kind of listen.
It's a hilarious read, but it's a hilarious cell phone. Oh, that is the loudest I've heard this building in 7 years. Oh, so you didn't get this place to ever be louder?
It only took 7. Yeah, it only took 7 years and me leaving.
Oh, so you agree you were a part of the problem?
Yeah.
Like he didn't even realize it.
It's like, that is such a Jack.
Terrible self-own.
Good job, Jack. Wow. We got some contract stuff, and I have some nerd stuff for you. I have player cards now. First of all, we're getting more and more confirmation on this one. Carolina's going to sign Kotkaniemi to 8 years.
Yeah, they said like 8. It was 8 times 4.4, I think.
They're looking at 4.4. The initial one that I was looking at was 4 to 4.25 million.
Mm.
But now they're saying more like 4.4, just under 5 is what I just more recently heard.
It's interesting. They use this guy primarily on the fourth line, and they're signing him to an 8-year deal.
Well, they're really, they are banking on just development in the NHL to where he can climb the lineup, right?
Yeah, they're hoping that he can climb the lineup over time because they're eventually going to. So Jay Fresh said that 4.82 is the reported cap.
Mm-hmm.
So a little higher than I first thought, but his WAR percentage has gone up to about 75% this year, and his defense isn't as good as it was last year, but his offense has improved a little bit, and his finishing is way up. So this is a kid who's been a pretty good addition to the team. Now, is he necessarily worth $6.1 million while playing on the fourth line? I don't know about that. Is he worth a first and a third? Well, I mean, it's going to be late first. So at the end of the day, like, it was weird when it happened, but I think that this can end up being good for the Hurricanes because, I mean, with the way that the salary cap is eventually going to go up and what second line centers are usually paid, that's going to be what you want. You want this guy to be a good middle six center / wing. It has the ability to either be one of the best steals in the NHL, but if this guy doesn't pan out to be a star, it's just going to be a normal contract. It's just
pretty much. I mean, and it's probably gonna age fairly poorly if he doesn't develop the way they want him to.
I don't think it's gonna age poorly at all because the cap's gonna go up. I think it'll just
maybe because they're okay. So they're banking on these $1 million per year increases until like 2026, 27, when they can skyrocket this cap, right?
Right. Now the cap hit, like here's the thing, I'm just referring to the cap hit in general. The cap hit isn't going to be an issue for them. But if he doesn't develop and then you have to pay this guy a bunch of money down the line, like actual cash that you're paying to him, that's where it could get ugly.
So I took these player cards from Dom Lucian at The Athletic.
Okay.
His player cards are actually pretty kind of cool. Like they're not as like fun looking as Jay Fresh's, but
yeah.
But they're interesting. So he was projected to score 11 goals. He's on pace for 17. And a lot of this, basically all of his statistics are around middle of the road tier, like middle towards top, right? He's projected a WAR of 0.2 or a GSVA. GSVA and WAR are very similar, I think. Right? You're muted, I think. Did you mute yourself?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Sorry, there's a conversation happening in the background, so I didn't want it to get hurt. Yeah. So,
Fair.
yes, they are very similar. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, he's projected to get 0.2 GSVA, and currently he's on pace for 0.4. So, basically, barely a half a win for Kotkaniemi.
But that's more than I think people realize. And the reason it's more than people realize is it's hard to necessarily get up while you're playing fourth line minutes.
Right.
So like I like the value for it. I do. Like I'm not sure if I want to commit to a guy like that 8 years already, but by doing so, you're putting yourself in a position where it can age really well. Here's the thing. I give it 25% chance that this ages well. Like really, really well.
Right.
I'll give it, I'd say a 60% chance that this ages all right. This deal to be fine. This deal isn't going to hinder them in any way. It's not going to be an absurdly great contract. It's not going to be a bad contract.
Right. They can work around it.
Yeah, and then maybe a 15% chance that it doesn't age well.
Fair enough.
That's
the other extension I wanted to talk about is a friend of ours. And first of all, I want you to see this picture.
Yes.
Look at Risto. Look at this beauty.
Yeah, look at that, man. That's
a
$5.1 million looking man.
Look at this. Look at how confused he looks. I love it.
It's a hilarious contract.
It's such a funny picture to go along with that.
I'm so thankful for Chuck Fletcher for giving us this moment.
He's getting paid more on average than Jared fucking McCann just got extended for. By like $1,000.
Those two players are equal in my eyes.
Exactly. Okay, so his charts are interesting because his goal production, percepted, and what he's actually on pace for is equal. A lot of his numbers are really low, like towards 40th percentile, maybe 50th at max. His goal production is projected to be 6. He's at 3 right now. And this is all updated as of like the 7th.
Right.
On pace for a very middle decent assist total with 23. He's got 19. 28 points. He's got 22. His offense is projected, or is currently a lot higher in his offense than he was projected to be. He was projected to be a negative 1.6 offensive guy. He's at a 5.9 on the Flyers.
Yeah, his offense has actually been pretty good this year.
And his defense is really the only thing that's an issue.
Which is usually a problem for a defenseman, right?
Yeah. Actually, he's not doing as bad as we thought, which is funny to me. Projected to be fringe percentile at a negative 12.5.
Jake.
And he's at a negative 24.6.
Jesus Christ.
So
I love that you presented those numbers and you're saying, actually, he's not doing as bad as he thought.
Well, it's funny because like you read the you read the way the chart is supposed to read in terms of the legend, and it's like, honestly, yeah, he was projected to be a lot worse than what it's looking like he is right now.
Yeah, it's still not worth $5.1 million though, and that's why I'm thankful for the deal. That's why I love the deal, because it's hilarious.
Oh man, 5 years of Risto in Philly.
Thank God for
that. One more quick shout out to Joe Pavelski for his 1 year, $5 million deal. That's a pretty decent deal for Dallas, I think.
It's a good deal for Dallas and good deal for Joe Pavelski. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
Good player for them.
At least he's sticking around. I love Pavs a lot.
Hell yeah. And God, he hasn't dropped off at all.
No.
He just continues to produce.
And especially with the players he's playing with, like, you know, when he plays with Jason, it's electric.
Yeah, Jason, dude, I love them together.
Yeah. I want to end on a couple, you know, crazy, like interesting, kind of one depressing and one high note. Today is Steve Dangle's birthday, and that was the anniversary of the league coming out and shutting down.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday, Steve, and happy anniversary to the NHL initially shutting down due to COVID. Can you believe it's been 2 years?
Of course, we went the same exact direction with that. Yeah, no, I can't believe it, dude. Time's a flat circle. Time is not real.
I remember, I remember I was in my studio class. Like we were preparing stuff around like the Wolf Center to get ready for a shoot that next weekend. Because we were like crunch time trying to get ready to wrap this shoot because we had to finish by the end of the semester.
Right.
We go into spring break the very next week, and in the middle of our spring break, BGSU campus gets shut down.
Yeah.
And students are already freaking out because Toledo got shut down, Michigan got shut down, and it was just like everywhere. And we didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And then Rudy Gobert gets his mic issue,
Rudy
like
Gobert.
on the 11th.
Like in hindsight, like it wasn't funny at the time because of what happened, but like it's so hilarious in retrospect.
That it was Rudy Gobert that started the sports world shutting down.
Let me tell you, out of any sport that could have happened in, it had to have been basketball. You had to know that there was going to be NBA.
I mean, they're the best at everything, right?
They are.
Oh. But yeah,
there's a reason that man has won so many Defensive Player of the Year awards, man. That dude was so good, he shut down an entire league.
Oh my God. It's so weird thinking back because like now we have more or less sports are back to normal, right?
Yeah, they're really back to normal. I mean, I was just, like I said,
for the most part.
Panthers game the other night. You don't need a mask. You don't need to show that you're vaccinated.
We just talked about the Nationwide lifted their mask mandate. And it's weird to still be talking about masks right now.
They've gone away for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
But then again, people still aren't getting their shots, which is dumb.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not gonna judge as much as I'm just gonna say, your choice, but get vaxxed. Like it's
right.
It's your choice, but get vaxxed.
Yes.
That's my recommendation. It's a recommendation more than anything.
Yes.
Good episode. But speaking of, sports being back to normal, MLB lockout's over.
Let's go. Thank God it's over.
Spring training started today?
I believe so.
I saw pictures of Joey Votto finally arriving, and
that's the difference. You were a hell of a lot more excited about this than I am, and I realized it's not because you're a bigger baseball fan. It's simply because you root for the Cincinnati Reds, and I root for the Cleveland Guardians. That's the difference.
That's pretty much the difference, isn't it?
I'm just like, can't wait to sign 3 different players to minor league contracts who will eventually be on the roster and do nothing else free agency.
Dude, I'm still nail biting over Nick. Like, if we lose Castellanos, if we lose Luis, if we lose fucking Sonny,
yeah,
we already lost Wade Miley, and he was like our best pitcher in the last season.
Mm-hmm.
But there's already today's the first day of free agency, and apparently a Freddie Freeman deal is in the works somewhere. There's a lot of deals getting.
I imagine he's going to just stay with the Braves. He's going to be.
It's between the Braves and the Dodgers right now, because the Dodgers have a decent.
I thought they threw the Yankees in there too.
I think the Yankees are in there, but they're in on everybody because they're the fucking Yankees.
Of course, it's always the best when they're in on everybody and they get nobody.
I think Pujols is in the works of maybe making a St. Louis return.
Oh my God, that'd be sick.
Because it's St. Louis and like 2 other teams that are talking to him.
Damn.
It's funny because he already came out too saying that he's lied about his age all this time.
Really?
He's 45. He's not 42.
Oh my God. Jesus. That's insane. What a career, man.
What a career for Pujols. Yeah. And
Good for
Joey's making history again. I just wish Castellini.
Joey Votto's unbelievable.
I just wish Castellini wasn't paying like 85% of the payroll to him.
Right.
But I'm hoping for a good Red season. You know, I'm not going to be too crazy about it because I know how they've been over the last few seasons. If they're in, they're in. If not, I kind of expect it because Castellini's a cheap piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, talk to me about cheap ownership. Payroll's like $30. So,
dude, you know my ex is from the Cleveland area. Like we used to chirp back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited that baseball is finally out of this muck. Manfred can suck it.
Me too, man. Let's go.
Let's go baseball. And let's go Jackets. We will see you on Tuesday, people.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.